I'm Mike Nelson, and my work is research, underwater research, which is how I found myself part of the Briggs Oceanographic Institute expedition, off the Philippine Islands, and carrying a big charge of TNT. We were conducting a seismic shoot, setting off explosive charges. The sound pattern of each explosion was picked up by hydrophones. It gave us a picture of the most mysterious area on Earth, the ocean floor. I set the fuse for radio detonation so it could be fired from our boat. Then I sent a marker up to the surface.
There's the marker. Dr. Martinson.
All set, Nelson?
I was swimming toward the boat when I saw that the other expedition diver, Tug Benton, was getting ready to explode the charge.
Hold it!
I didn't know whether he thought it was a practical joke, but the shock wave of that explosion could cripple me, even kill me, unless I got out of the water in time.
And he crossed the goal line just in time. Right.
That was a stupid thing for you to do. I could have been badly hurt.
Oh, come off of it, Mike. I was just kidding around. You don't have to flip your lid over it.
All right, Nelson. After all, there was no harm done. And Tug, this isn't a football field. Be more considerate in the future.
Oh, okay. It's just a gag.
Dr. Martinson, the transseismograph, it's recording.
The transseismograph was a brand new scientific baby, born out of a seismograph by sonar and transducers. The TNT charge that I'd planted had gone off, and the sound of the explosion was reflected back from the ocean floor. Now, these reflections in sound were being tracked and recorded on the transseismograph, a composite portrait of an unknown submarine world, miles underwater.
It's building up a beautiful picture, Doctor.
Yes, quite good, as far as it goes.
Oh, it seems to be going pretty far down. This one indicates the basaltic underlay at the bottom of the ocean, doesn't it? This one here?
You seem quite expert, Nelson.
The Institute gave me a cram course before they sent me out here to join you.
Very thoughtful of them, I'm sure. Especially in view of the fact that there are 9 other ships involved in this expedition. And this is the only one that neither requested nor needs another diver.
Well, of course, this is my boat.
We'll not discuss it. Susan, we're getting quite an interference from the thermal barrier. Nelson, the next series of charges will have to be heavier and set deeper.
Working with scuba, it's not a good idea to go below 150 feet.
Tug Benton seems willing.
Yeah, I'm sure Tug does. He's never done any deep diving.
Tug's a good lad. A little reckless, perhaps, but then I like that.
Well, I don't. Especially underwater.
I've considered all the factors very carefully, and in my opinion, there's no danger. I'm going to double the explosive charges.
But, Doctor, the Institute, don't you think you should call them before?
The Institute is staffed with a group of professional nervous Nellies. I gained my reputation diving in the Tonga Trench. I succeeded where a lot of overcautious, worried little men failed. And I'll succeed here, too. Well, that's it. The sound patterns have passed beyond audible range. Susan, will you classify and composite the recordings and reset the graph? Nelson, the next group of charges will be set first thing tomorrow morning.
He's a very fine scientist.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't.
They're jealous at the Institute. His work on the Tonga Trench is world famous. It's in every textbook in oceanography.
That work of his was done over 20 years ago.
But he's been teaching. You can't expect a scientific discovery every year on the dot.
Susan, I don't deny that Dr. Martinson is a first-class scientist. But he's also a man. An ambitious one.
What do you mean, ambitious?
Well, I don't know. I get the feeling that he's in competition with all the other scientists on this expedition.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing, I suppose. Except he seems to be driven. That he's got to make an important discovery on this trip no matter how.
That's not true.
Susan, you're a scientist, too. Don't you think he's pressing too hard? And ignoring the facts?
Oh, Nelson. I was just telling Tug here about the work tomorrow and the double-strength charges.
Doctor, you're in charge here, but,
Exactly, Nelson. It's my expedition. Tug, you can go over the map coordinates with Nelson.
Look, Mike. The doc is the boss. I mean, they wouldn't have sent him out here unless he knew what he was doing.
I don't like taking chances.
I remember in the Illinois game, it was after that one, that I won some votes for all-conference halfback. Well, the coach called a play that I just couldn't see. But I figured he's the coach. And you know, it worked.
Well, if it didn't work, what would have happened?
We would have lost possession of the ball.
Well, if this play of his doesn't work, we'll lose possession of our lives.
Mike,
Don't bother him, Sue. Mike's got a lot of worries on his mind. You know, I had you figured for a real pro, Mike. But I guess you're just a worrywart.
Next morning, Tug and I dove, each with 2 TNT packs. The situation was tense enough without my arguing with Tug Benton. So I took a 2-handed grip on my worries and concentrated on the job. We were going to plant all 4 charges inside crevices in the gigantic underwater cliff. The theory was to use the cliff itself and the great inundated mountain range below it as a sort of super tuning fork. The explosions would resonate through the cliff, and the echoes would give us a picture of the geological structure of the area, right down to the bottom, 7 miles deep. Tug set the first 2 TNT packs, while I took the other 2 farther down. My worry was that 4 explosions in the series might shatter the cliff and start more underwater trouble than we could handle. We were placing the charges far apart so that the first explosion wouldn't act as a percussion cap and set off the others. I planted my first pack as scheduled and started the time fuse. It was preset, and once I had turned the lock, the fuse mechanism began to work. It would go off in exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes. I had just finished setting the last charge, and time was running short. But before I set the fuse, I saw something. Silt. The water was cloudy with it, probably kicked up by the last explosion, but it was still agitated. This could mean that the ocean bottom was still shaking. It might be nothing at all, but it might mean trouble. Tug paid no attention. He set the fuse. And that was that. The timer inside was ticking away now. And all 4 charges were set. The first one would go off in a few minutes. We had to get back to our boat. And fast.
And you see that silt?
I saw the silt, so what?
What's the matter?
There was a lot of bottom mud stirred up there during the last explosion.
That's not unusual.
But it's still there. After nearly 24 hours. I'm afraid there's some sort of a local disturbance down there. And you're going to set off 4 heavy explosive charges right in the middle of it. Please, why don't you at least consult with the other members of the expedition on this, huh?
Nelson, I'll say this for the last time. This is my responsibility. You're here against my wishes. In the future, I'd appreciate just one thing from you. Silence. Do I make myself clear?
Very. Let's hope that the ocean bottom remains silent, too. About a minute to go.
Oh, yes. Charges all completely set?
Yeah. Just where they'll cause the biggest possible shock.
Oh, Mike, don't be so worried. Dr. Martinson knows what he's doing. We're getting it clearly, Doctor.
So I see. Notice, Nelson, the effect of the explosion's tapering off already.
But before it damps out, the second one is due to go off.
In approximately 3 minutes. Then half an hour later, the last 2. And at that point, Nelson, I'll expect an apology.
If one's due, you'll get it. 2.5 minutes.
Quarter.
Now.
And hold on.
The second underwater explosion had acted as a giant detonator and set off a terrifying submarine upheaval. It felt like the end of the world. Our boat pitched and shuddered. Martinson had taken one chance too many. This was the result.
I don't know what to say.
Doctor, what is it?
Mike, you were right. That last charge triggered off an earthquake underwater. A little heavier and it could have started a tidal wave.
Tidal wave? Well, I guess we're lucky to be in one piece. I'm glad that's over.
Over? Tug, you're forgetting charges 3 and 4. My heavy charges.
And if they trigger off a stronger upheaval?
Exactly. A tidal wave.
You got nearly 40 minutes.
Hey, you mean go back after him? A guy could get killed that way, but permanently.
That TNT is acting just like a fuse. A little explosion, it sets off a big one. In 1942, a tidal wave hit the coast of India. Killed nearly 10,000 people.
Okay, I get the signals. I don't mind telling you. I'm scared.
That's the healthiest thing you've said yet.
Isn't there any way we can stop the charges from going off?
No, they're untying fuses. My idea again. I wanted to be sure they'd go off on sequence. My idea, my fault. I never dreamed something like this could happen. The odds against it are, well, 10 boats and nearly $500,000 just thrown away. I'd better notify the other boats.
Hasn't happened yet, and I won't. I'll meet you down below.
Okay, Mike.
We had to retrieve both charges of TNT. There was no way to disarm the fuses underwater. 2 charges, a heavy load of high explosive, and just 34 minutes to go. We had 27 minutes left when Tug located the 3rd charge. I carried the 3rd charge up to the boat, where Martinson could disarm it, and Tug headed for the deeper water, where the last and heaviest charge was planted.
Dr. Martinson! There's Mike.
Get the tool.
Three minutes to go, and a lot of underwater area to search. I hoped the Tug had gotten lucky. I noticed the Tug was getting irritable. Either he was getting impatient, or the pressure was bothering him. He had a right either way. But I didn't have time to ask which, because at that moment, we located the last explosive charge. I felt as happy as if I'd just inherited a fortune. We still had nearly 16 minutes, plenty of time. And then, time suddenly ran out. Tug had been acting slightly peculiar, but I'd been too busy to notice it. Then all of a sudden, it was all too clear. They call it rapture of the deep. Divers who go down too far sometimes get hit by it. It's a weird experience. Tug was as happy as he could be. He didn't give a shrimp's whistle for the fact that he was hugging a dangerous charge of TNT, that it was going to explode in a bare quarter of an hour. I had no choice. The rapture would last until we ascended. In the meantime, Tug could easily drop the TNT down where I'd never be able to recover it, where it would go off disastrously. It was a madman's dream. We were playing hide and seek underwater, with death as a prize. have been funny, but I wasn't laughing. 11 minutes were left, and Tug was getting wilder. I felt like a man holding a wildcat on one hand and a hot stove in the other. Tug was past reason. I kinked his air hose, shut off his air supply. It took only seconds before Tug was almost unconscious. I was scared stiff. If he passed out, he'd drown. I could hear an invisible alarm clock ticking away in my head. 6 minutes left as I started back up. We hit the surface. 3 minutes. And that invisible clock was ticking louder. Get him aboard! We didn't have time enough to disarm this charge. But if it went off above water, it would be mostly noise.
Start your engine!
We had to get away from the little boat before it went up in splinters.
Now get out of here! Fast!
You okay?
What happened?
You're a little slap-happy down there. You got nitrogen narcosis. Rapture of the deep.
Rapture of the... Oh, I thought that was some kind of tall story. You wouldn't be kidding me, would you?
I'm not kidding you. Keep your eye on that dinghy out there.
God, it's over.
Come on, boy.
Mike. Yeah, I guess I've been a prize boob.
That goes double for me. Mike, I'd like to apologize again.
Forget it. But you've collected some valuable data. Another week and we'd have enough information to make them do flip-flops back there at the Institute.
Mike, then you'll stay on with us?
You don't think I'm going to abandon my own boat, do you? Besides, it'd be kind of dull working with somebody else after this outfit. Yeah, it looks like we're stuck for a long time with one another.
Thanks, Mike.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. You know, 3/5 of the world is covered by the sea. And how little most of us know about that underwater world. Go below with us again next week, huh? For another thrilling adventure in Sea Hunt.
I was on my way deep into the jungle areas of a small Latin American country at the request of a U.S. government agency. For a professional diver, this was going a long way away from water. But just the same, water was my objective. A pool of water, a sacred pool, filled with ancient terrors and strange dangers, and holding secrets that had been undisturbed for centuries. I was looking for the newly discovered cenote of Itzama. A cenote is an ancient pool used as a ceremonial center more than 1,000 years ago by the Mayas and their conquerors, the Toltecs. It was the Toltecs who had introduced the savage custom of human sacrifice and had converted the pool into a place of death worship. I had been warned that it might be guarded. Others had also learned of the tremendous secret locked within this part of the jungle. They might be there ahead of me. Suddenly, the pool and the ruins of the temple were in front of me. I had come upon them sooner than I expected. I was excited and careless. My eyes were on the pool. They should have been elsewhere.
Hold it right there. Drop that machete. Move faster. That's far enough. Who are you?
My name's Mike Nelson.
You don't belong here.
I'm an amateur archaeologist. I came here to see that pool.
All right, you've seen it. Get going.
I know it doesn't make sense to argue with that gun, but, well, it seems a shame. I came this far, and, couldn't I just take a closer look at those ruins, huh?
All right.
Boy, oh boy, what a sight. I had to go and leave my camera back in my Jeep.
Tough.
How old would you say these ruins are, huh?
Come on. Get moving.
Now I controlled the cards, and I was ready to do the wheeling and the dealing.
Keep going. Just arrived, huh? You here alone?
Neither of us is here alone. There are Indians in these jungles.
All right, get down, huh? On your stomach. Put your hands above your head. Who's Mariana?
Mariana. 568-03.
Richter 1118.
I should have known.
Hi.
Can you put all that together, that fancy code?
No.
Mariana Richter, my secretary in Washington, and a social security number. I'm Conrad Barnes.
Yeah, they didn't tell me your name.
They didn't tell me yours either. I'm sorry about poking the gun at you, but this isn't where you were supposed to meet me, you know. And you weren't due for 2 more days.
Yeah, I know. They kind of changed the signals on us. They decided to get me here as fast as they possibly could. It seems like the wrong people have already found what's in that pool.
How much do you know about it, Mike? You know what you're here for?
No? You're supposed to give me all that.
It's an urn. It's shaped exactly like this, only it's about 2 feet high. And it's filled with an oil-like substance called glaucatal.
Glaucatal? What's that? That's a funny word.
It's a very ancient name for a very ancient drug. Once a year, a sealed urn filled with glaucatal was offered to Itzama,
Itzama? Who's that?
the Mayan lord of the heavens. And then the high priest would toss this urn into the pool. Now, we're gambling that just one of these urns is still lying down in there, intact after all these centuries. If we could bring one up full, it'd be worth any effort we could make or any risk we might take.
Maybe it's as important as all that, this glaucatal?
It is. And we're wasting time. What about your gear?
Oh, that's in my Jeep. I'll go get it.
You want some help?
You better stay here.
You, want to take this with you?
Rather use this if you don't mind.
Sure.
You keep it.
I'll try to hang on to it a little better than last time.
See that you do. You dive okay, huh?
I was the best man available.
I better make the first dive alone anyway.
Look, Mike, it may sound silly, but there's a legend about this pool.
Oh?
There used to be a sacred alligator in there. They fed him human sacrifices.
Oh, yeah? Well, that was a long, long time ago.
Well, the Indians think that the sacred alligator is still alive. Who knows? Maybe his great-great-grandson is.
Yeah? Well, I knocked you into that pool. You came out whole, didn't you?
Well, just the same. This is no ordinary arrow, Mike. It's the arrow of the feathered serpent.
Does that mean something?
An arrow like this always went through the jungle to announce the ceremony of sacrifice.
It's probably just somebody trying to spook us.
You can call it that, spooking. But there are still people here who believe in it. And this arrow's no imitation. It could be 500 years old.
Well, I'm still going down that pool. Looks like you got yourself a job as sentry.
While Barnes kept watch, I got set for the first dive. Very little was known about what was actually below the surface. One Maya legend said that the pool was bottomless. That I would find out for myself. If it was impossibly deep, my mission would be a failure. If not, it would have a good chance. If other hazards didn't interfere. Now I was deep. There was a bottom, all right, but it slanted away into the entrance of a steep cave. There was no question anymore about whether the presence of an alligator was just an ancient legend. It was real, all right. Very real. I realized that I would need Barnes in the water with me if I attempted another dive. And I was not looking forward to what might happen next. I was thinking only of the danger in the water. I had forgotten the other hazards. But they didn't stay forgotten long.
Tell me, boy, what happened?
I don't know. Something hit me from behind. You must have come up just in time.
This job is more of a risk than I bargained for. You think it's worth it, this stuff? This, what'd you call it? The Talal Ketel?
It's worth it.
Maybe to you fellas in intelligence, but not to me.
That's because you weren't told what it's for.
What is it for?
Tlalketel is an ancient drug, Mike, with amazing powers. What penicillin is to sick bodies, Tlalketel could be to sick minds. Important?
Yeah.
With just one dive, Mike, you could be going back whole centuries. You bring up just one urn filled with Tlalketel, and our medical scientists can analyze the oil and synthesize it and learn from it, and take a whole new step forward that could be the biggest medical news in a generation.
Why the big mystery if it's as useful as all that?
If the wrong people get it first, it could be used the wrong way, to enslave men instead of help them.
It's just a medicine, isn't it?
It's much more than that. It directly affects the metabolism of the mind. It makes it abnormally suggestible. You talk about brainwashing? This drug, if the wrong people get it first, could do it like that. Whole populations.
Wow.
That's why I was willing to go into that pool.
Okay. You're gonna get your chance as soon as you get rested up. I'll go check over your gear.
When we got below, I planned to leave the spear gun with Barnes. He would take up a vigil at the mouth of the cave to make sure that the alligator couldn't cut me off and trap me while I was inside. I had had some experience with alligators before, and I had given Barnes a number of tips. By using them, he could discourage the alligator, unless it was really hungry. In that case, with the spear gun, at least his chances would be better than mine. When I looked around again, I saw him in trouble. I started him back toward the surface. Fortunately, we hadn't attracted the alligator yet.
Take your belt off. Nothing wrong with your regulator. I'm afraid it's you.
Sorry, Mike.
I thought you said you could dive.
I can a little, but
Yeah, very little.
I'll do better next time.
You gotta be checked out before you go down again. There's certainly no time to do it now.
Okay. You're the boss. I'll stay here and play sentry.
You keep me covered now.
If the alligator was going to attack, I hoped that it would attack before I got into the cave. The pool was very large, and I would have room to maneuver and fight back. But in the narrow cave, I wouldn't have a chance. I had expected to make a long and difficult search, working my way deeper and deeper into the tunnel. Only a short time had gone by, and I could hardly believe my eyes. Or my good luck. This was a ceremonial urn, all right, intact. I had just emerged from the lower cave into the main pool. For a moment, it looked as though the way was clear. But I wasn't to be that lucky. I knew what I had to do. I would have a better chance by trying to exhaust it than by trying to kill it. I would try to seize its tail. On land, the tail is deadly. One blow can kill a man. But in water, the tail doesn't have the same leverage. I had to get at its jaws. The muscles that snap an alligator's jaws shut are like steel, but the ones that open its jaws are very weak. If I could just hold its jaws closed, I'd have my battle won. The danger was over. Sooner or later, the rope would part. But by that time, I'd be long gone. I turned back to retrieve the urn. It was all clear now.
Barnes!
We've had visitors again, Mike.
Got something to show you.
You found it. You really found it.
That's it, Mike. There's no doubt about it. That's it.
It's heavy, too. Must be full.
Like to know where it's going?
Well, somewhere we'll do a lot of good, I hope.
The World Health Organization of the United Nations.
If we're gonna get it to him, let's get it to him in a hurry.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll take that now.
Who are you?
I believe you've been referring to those I represent as the wrong people. To the right. Back from the gun, both of you. You! Over by the tent. Stand back. Well back. I would like your little present gift wrapped. I'm sure that none of us would like to see it broken. Get those blankets. I want it wrapped for travel. The pillow, too. Oh, and I'll take back my ceremonial arrow, too. It was borrowed from a very rare collection. No, you were not bothered by the jungle Indians. Not really. Modestly, that was my little work. But you would not be warned. Therefore, what happens must happen. The pillow first. All around it. That's right. Lots of padding. Now the blanket. Now tie it with that cord. Very nice, Mr. Barnes. Yes, I think we are the right people to possess the secret of Tlaloc. For us, it will be serving many uses. Therefore, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Barnes. And to you, Mr. Nelson.
Get over next to your boss. Nice going.
Just making up for the time you took the gun away from me.
All right, I'll take care of them. You take care of that Tlaloc. Get up. We're gonna see that that gets to the right people. Now, go on over there, you two. Hi there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is certainly a lot of fun, and it's full of adventure. See some more of it again next week, huh? When there'll be another excursion into that fabulous underwater world of sea hunt.
Three of us were diving in the waters of a man-made lake, created when a stream was dammed and the waters backed up into an ancient valley. Once this had been mining country, but now the mine shafts were dark recesses where fish lay their eggs. One of my companions was Al Turner. I was training him for the permanent job of underwater maintenance. The other was a young doctor, Tom Stevenson. He was interested in diving as a sport. Turner was at the entrance to the inundated mine when trouble came. Dr. Stevenson and I got him out of there as fast as we could, but we hadn't seen anything like real trouble yet.
Hello, sir.
Hey, feeling any better now, Al?
Yeah, I guess so. Good thing you got a hard skull, boy.
Hey! Hey, down there, help! There's been an accident! My little girl! Please help! There's been an accident! My little girl, help! Please! My little girl. She's trapped in a well. I turned my head and suddenly she was gone.
Where? Where is she?
Over here. Cindy. Cindy, baby. Cindy, can you hear me?
Dad, I can't see. I lost my job.
Are you hurt?
Where are you, Daddy? I can't see. I'm scared, Daddy.
You've got to get her out of there. You've got to.
How far down is she? I don't know. It's hard to tell. It might be 100 feet or more. We gotta get some air to her. How long has she been down there?
It just happened. Mike, this isn't a well. It's too narrow. Must be an air shaft leading down to one of those old mines. I don't know how long she's going to be able to breathe down there.
There's an air compressor in the back of my car. And 100 foot of hose.
That ought to do it.
I'll bring the car up here. Good now. There's a motel up the highway. We gotta call the police.
I'll call him. You've got to get her out. You've got to.
It's not gonna help. Listen here. You just keep talking to her, you understand? Just keep talking to her, huh?
Cindy, remember the time...
It's a miracle how people respond to an emergency. In practically no time, it seemed, dozens of volunteer workers had assembled and heavy drilling equipment was at work trying to sink a shaft to reach the trapped child.
Chief, what's the situation?
We can't get anybody down that shaft, Mike. It's too narrow. But we're drilling diagonally. The man will be able to get down there soon and bring her out. It shouldn't be long now.
How far down would you...
Let me go! Let me go!
What are you gonna do?
Mike, there isn't anything we can do until we hear from the Geological Institute in Springtown.
No, it'll take too long. If we're gonna get her out alive, we gotta act now.
Well, there's nothing I'd like better. But until we learn the extent of that damage down there, drilling is out of the question. But this whole cliff would slide down into the lake.
She's trapped in an air shaft.
Yeah.
It's gotta connect that mine tunnel below, huh?
I know, Mike, but that mine tunnel is now underwater.
I know that. That gives me a chance to do something now.
Mike!
As I entered the water, I was hopeful. There was no guarantee that Cindy was still alive. But if she were, I was sure that I could get into the old mine shaft toward which she had fallen. The mine entrance wasn't deep. I swam inside.
An underwater attempt to locate the child is being made by Mike Nelson, the expert skin diver who helped in the earlier attempt to rescue the little girl. He's trying to get to the air shaft through one of the submerged mines under Fenton's Point.
Hawkins, call my nephew. I got to talk to him.
About what?
The cave-in at Fenton's Point. That skin diver ain't gonna make it. I worked in them gopher holes 35 years ago. I know.
I do not intend to bother Dr. Stevenson with any more of your nonsense.
Oh, now, looky here, Hawkins. I've done some pretty crazy things here in the past, but this here's on the level.
We called Dr. Stevenson when you disappeared and were found pitching horseshoes in the park. We called him again when you locked yourself up in the bathroom because you didn't want a salt-free diet. And we called him again when you sounded the fire alarm and brought the whole fire department down here. Well, I do not intend to call Dr. Stevenson this time.
Time and water had made a shambles of the mine shaft. I had to pick my way between fallen timbers and rock slides. This was the end of the line. The debris blocked the tunnel completely. I could go no further. With sinking heart, I gave up and started back. Then it happened. I was trapped. My tanks were caught under the fallen timbers. I couldn't budge them. My regulator was damaged too. I was having trouble getting air. I had only one course of action. I slipped out of my harness, sucked what air I could from the mouthpiece, held my breath, and started up, hoping that I could last till I reached the surface.
There he is.
What happened, Mike?
Are you hurt, Mike? What happened to your equipment?
I had to ditch it. The tunnel, it caved in. I can't reach her.
Well, if you can't reach Cindy, Mike, nobody can. I just got a call from Springtown. Positively no drilling above. I'm afraid that closes the case, Mike.
You didn't think I could do it, did you, Hawkins?
Mike, you did all you could. Forget it.
Anybody notified her father yet?
No. He's under a mild sedative. There'll be plenty of time to tell him when he wakes up. Here, put this on. Hello, Dr. Stevenson. Who? All right. Yeah, put him through. Hello, Uncle Jim. What's up? Yeah, I was right there when it happened. Skin diver? You mean Mike Nelson? Yeah, I'll say. He just about didn't make it. No, they haven't been able to reach her, Uncle Jim. I think it's just about all over. What do you mean? Where? Well, how could there be? Yeah, all right. Look, Jim, stay where you are. We'll be right over. But this had better be on the level. Yeah.
What's up?
Well, little Cindy just may have a chance after all. Let's go.
You sure about this now?
Sure as I can be after 35 years.
I got here as soon as I could, Mike.
Oh, Uncle Jim has given us a fresh lead. You know Police Chief Pullman, Uncle Jim?
Howdy.
Hello, Jim.
It seems that Jim was one of the early developers of the mine where Cindy is trapped. And, Jim, you might explain it again, please, huh?
Well, like I was telling them, the structure in them cliffs around Stanton's Point is real tricky. Devil Rock, we used to call it. That's how I know that Mike here didn't have no chance. Here, looky here. This is where Mike went in here. There's lots of shale in there, real soft.
Oh, well, you can say that again.
Yeah, Pete Callahan and me had the same doggone trouble you did in 25. Until we found us some better ground over around here.
Well, that's way around the point in Fisherman's Cove.
That's Mark Tunnelby, huh?
Yeah.
That's about 500 feet from the air shaft here, isn't it?
That's right. And that's the only way.
Jim tells us that the rock here in Tunnel B is pretty solid, so it won't cause us any trouble. At least not till we get to the shaft, huh?
Right.
Well, Mike, that is if there is an air shaft left.
It's our only chance.
You mean you're thinking of going down there again? Do you feel well enough?
Yeah?
Well, I don't know. Well, all right, but you can't go down alone. You have to take somebody with you.
Tom, you go with me?
What'd he say, Tom?
I may need a doctor down there.
You got one.
I'll take this with me, huh?
Yeah, sure.
"20 minutes later, Tom and I were in the water at Fisherman's Cove. Uncle Jim had told us that the mine tunnel should be about 30 feet below. It was. Uncle Jim was right about the geological structure, too. This tunnel was solid. A couple of 100 feet inside, I started looking toward the surface. That's where Uncle Jim had promised that the tunnel, slanting upward, would bring us to a dry spot. The air was so foul that we couldn't breathe it. I was glad we were carrying our own supply along with us.
Cindy! Cindy! It's the end of the line, Mike.
Check that wall back there. But be careful. We don't want to start any cave-ins.
It's a waste of time, Mike. Nobody can help her now. Cindy! 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 Quick, let's go. We'll never get out of here.
No, we can't go. Gotta find her.
Cindy! 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 Cindy's dead. I'm a doctor and I'm used to facing facts, Mike.
Haven't you ever operated on a patient you thought was dying? You kept working, you didn't give up? He lived?
Mm-hmm. But I know a dead one when I see one. I'm leaving.
I didn't blame Tom, but I couldn't give up now. I knew that somewhere in that broken rock above me was a tiny child. Dead or alive, she had to be there.
Cindy!
I kept calling for Cindy. The air shaft into which she had fallen should have ended in the tunnel here. But there was no sign of an air shaft. Nothing but tumbled rock and broken dirt. A breath of fresh air swept through the tunnel. I knew the shaft to the surface was open. And then I saw it.
Cindy!
Cindy? Cindy, you're gonna be all right now. Sweetie, I'm afraid of your dad. I'm gonna get you out of here. You hear me, sweetie? Now listen, sweetie. I'm gonna go get some help. I'll be right back. Cindy, I'll be right back now.
I needed Tom. Cindy seemed to be in a state of shock. She might be seriously injured. She was out of my reach, too. I needed help to climb to her. I was proud of Tom when I found him already on his way back. We raced back to the tunnel.
I found her. She's alive. But I needed your help.
Is she hurt?
I don't know. I think she's in shock. She won't talk.
Sorry, sweetie. Told you to be back, huh? We're gonna get you out of here now. Come on. Here. Give me that lace. Come on, darling. You're not gonna fall. I won't let you fall. I'll catch you. Come on. Put your foot down. Come on, darling. Come on. That's the girl. Swing your other foot over now. That's right. Now listen, sweetie. You just fall, and I'll catch you, sweetheart. That's it. Come on, fall right forward.
Do you hurt anywhere, honey?
Cindy.
Cindy, honey. You hurt anywhere?
Baby. You know her, huh?
She belong to you?
Sweetie, we're gonna take you swimming now, huh? You wanna go swimming with us? Huh, sweetie? You like to swim? You ever been in the water? Huh? Have you? Okay, sweetie. Come on, Tom. Bring her here. Oh, sweetie. Now, you see, you know how to swim, huh? You've been swimming before?
I prepared Cindy for the underwater trip. She would have to keep the mouthpiece clamped down while I held her nose. I prayed that she wouldn't panic. She was a real little soldier. Maybe it was shock, maybe she was just a natural. But she did everything that she had to survive underwater. Without fear, without panic.
They did it! They got her!
They have!
Hard. Nothing wrong with her that a few seconds with her daddy won't cure. Forgot your girlfriend again. Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.